Brothers and sisters, CVMA, welcome. Matt Mutt Jones, your national president. We're trying a little something new here. We're calling it the vlog. We're going to try to give you a couple briefings on items that are going along from each of the NBOD members. You're going to hear each one of them talk about items such as logo use, the national meetings coming up in 2020-21, trademark infringements, administrative improvements that have been made on the forum, the repository, places that you can get one-stop shopping for all your forms and information. Our Sergeant Arms luckily brief us on stuff like empowering his chapter Sergeant Arms and opening communications with them to make things smoother for all the processes if you have to deal with that Sergeant Arms guy from the NBOD. He's actually on the NBOD. The National Vice President is going to speak to you a little bit on web projects that he's come out, that he's been dealing with this year, cleaning up the list, adding stuff that members have been requesting, et cetera. Again, making things easier for the membership. And he's also going to touch on the policy committee that we've instituted to try to help relieve some of the confusion based on bylaw changes in the past dealing with policies. And lastly, our National Treasurer is going to speak a little bit on the financial transparency that's been added to the system this year and the difference in changing in the payments of how they're accepted, when they're accepted. So with that, I'm going to let the guys give you their own little briefings.
Hey family, this is Scott Hulk-Harris. I'm your National Public Relations Officer. I want to talk to you about a few things. First thing being the LUAP. This board is constantly striving to make it easier for members, chapters, states, regions to use. So with that being said, the older LUAP had paper, cardstock, digital approvals that were already built in, whereas this new LUAP didn't. That was an oversight, and I'll take the heat round on that. That was an oversight on my part. But this board caught it, and we're bringing that back about the permission. So look forward to the newly revised LUAP. 2020 Nationals, as you know, is going to be held in Jacksonville, Florida this year. Father's Day weekend, June. I'm fucking excited for this one too. But I encourage everybody to register online at www.cvmanationals2020.com. I'd like to talk to you about 2021 Nationals. This board has just approved that Sheridan, Wyoming will host 2021 Nationals. In Boise, Idaho, they were going to get up and give a little spiel, but, well, that didn't work out. So they will be talking during Jacksonville, and then the host of 2021 Nationals will also get up and talk about their location. Really exciting news. Stay looking forward to it during Nationals in Jacksonville. Last thing I'd like to talk to you about are trademark violations. In the past year, beginning July 1 until present, we've had 17 outside vendors violate our protected marks. Most of them have been sent cease and desist letters. All of them have been sent cease and desist letters. Others were taking a different route. Also, more troubling, 42 members have infringed upon the trademark, meaning that they have altered the FM logo without prior approval. All of those resulting in no serious disciplinary actions yet, but guys, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. Here's an example of an alteration to the FM logo that is not authorized. This is a no-go. This was actually used. Now, I'm not picking on Alabama, but they're the latest one to use this. Don't use this. This is a no-go. This is an alteration to the FM logo. Again, don't use us. I'm your point of contact for all things logo, but I encourage you to use your chain of command, because your chain of command can probably answer any question that you have about the logo. And if not, they can direct you up or they can ask me themselves. I look forward to continuing doing good work with this board. I'm really excited about this board, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Hello, this is Brad Bergland, your National Secretary, and I'd like to take a couple minutes to just talk about some administrative things that's going on in the CVMA world today. If you look at the forum, you'll see that there's a new repository. So please go there. You can find the policies, request forms, applications, logo use documents, and also we've recently added disciplinary forms to use as tools, and the National Sergeant at Arms will talk to you about that later. The applications and the request forms have also been numbered as a request from some members to formalize those forms for professional looks, and also just to make sure they're easier to catalog and to find later on. I'm preparing to do an administrative symposium. So chapter secretaries, chapter commanders, state reps, and above will be invited to an online seminar that I'll be hosting, and we'll cover all things administrative for about 2 hours and make sure that everyone understands all the processes and everything that is required to do the applications and all of the other administrative tasks that we need to do. Apps are being approved at a record rate these days. However, there are still quite a few that are being sent back. And I will tell you that most of the time that forms or applications are sent back, it's not because the members don't qualify. It's just strictly because of administrative issues such as signatures, forms that are blurry and not readable, things like that. We have to remember that those forms are legal documents. They have to stand up in a court of law. So they have to be clear and crisp. They can't be blurry. That legal document has to be legible. That's basically it. So there'll be more to come from me as we get going down the road as far as administrative processes. Look forward to seeing you on the symposium, and I'll see you in Jacksonville. Thanks.
Good evening. I'm Gary Coolshot Lujan. I'm your National Sergeant at Arms. I am here under my own will. I know it looks like I may have been captured or anything like that, but I'm not. So I'm here to do this thing. All right. So since I've been the National Sergeant at Arms, we've changed the application process. Not the application process, but the actual application to where we're making sure individuals who are out bad with other MCs don't join us. It's caused a lot of issues in the past. We've also, I've given Sergeant Arms across the board more power. I want them to work for this association through me. I've also given Chapter Sergeant Arms the ability to call me, to ask me questions about certain things of if they have questions on processes and things they could do. And this has worked out really good so far, because now I can talk to them directly and let them know, no, you can't do this, or yes, you can do this. We're going to continue on doing this process and keeping the NBOD out of your business. If you notice, since I've been in the Sergeant Arms for this association, the NBOD has not reached down into any state or chapter business. I want to continue to work it that way. I love doing this job. I love seeing my brothers and sisters, and I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris Lunchbox Aker. I'm your National Vice President. We're asked to kind of give you guys a rundown of what we've been working on in our individual positions. So the first thing I was tasked with by Mutt, National President, was to manage the web projects. When I first looked at the list, there were about 33 items on it, and 13 were left over from 2013. So if you think about that, I took over in the year 2019, so that's 6 years. I kind of felt like that's unacceptable. So we had to look at why that was the case. Got with Spider-Man, we went over each and every item on the list, and we were able to cut the list in half, and we reallocated some of those projects into new projects. And since I've been on the board, 20 projects have been completed. And if you couple that with the ones that were eliminated, you're looking at about 30-something projects that have been dealt with in 7 months. So I think that's pretty good. One reason for that is how the system is managed. Spider-Man and I came up with not only a rating system, but time constraint on each one of those. So based on the time and the needs of the association, we're able to manage the list much more effectively, which is increased productivity. The next thing I'm working on, I asked Mutt to let me work on this project and to head it up, was I asked to form a policy review committee. As many of you know, there was a bylaw that passed in 2017 that put an 18-month expiration date on policies. There were a lot of questions that had to be answered with that, one of which is, does the policy actually expire if it came out before that bylaw was written, or does it not? And what do we do? Can we renew policies, et cetera, et cetera? So I put together a committee to decide what to do with all of these, made up of 5 region reps and 5 state reps from across the country. They're representing small states, big states, and there's members from coast to coast. So the tried to make it so that the most amount of members are represented by those individuals. And also, I'm only a tie-break vote. So it's not my will, it's going to be the will of the committee of what we recommend. Another point to consider with policies, most of those policies are written to address some sort of hole in the bylaw, an ambiguity. So if there was a problem or an issue and the policy expires and it wasn't incorporated in the bylaws, that doesn't mean that a magic fairy came down and just got rid of it. So we still have to have some way to answer the question. So we're just trying to come up with a way to do that. We have approved one policy that went in front of the NBOD and the region reps, et cetera. That's going to be coming out shortly, and there'll be a full explanation letter that comes out with it as to how specifically the committee's working. The last thing that I've been working on is, I've sort of taken point, but the whole board's been working on it, is the previous national board asked the association attorney to do a bylaw review to make sure we were in compliance with Missouri corporation law, and just to see if there were holes that needed to be plugged. Mostly because of the lawsuits, et cetera, that has been plaguing the association the last couple of years. So, as a matter of fact, today, which is, what's today's date, the 16th? 15th. It's day after Valentine's Day. That's right, my Valentine's Day was Mutt, in case you're wondering. So we met with him today, the whole board. He made some recommendations, and we have to go through all of that, and we'll be coming out with hopefully a product or something to present to the membership that we can all discuss, and there'll be a full report coming out at Nationals. So thanks.
Good evening. This is Chuck Canuck Pelican, your National Treasurer. We've been asked to cover things that are going on in our area for this first vlog, and financial matters are pretty boring, but I have a few things I can go over. In the past year, one thing that we've changed is PayPal has started keeping their fees, so we want to cut down on the cost to the association with refunds, and we've instituted a no payment plan for applications where payments aren't made until the application is accepted. Another thing we've done is we've started publishing quarterly financial reports, and some members have picked up on that and have been reading them, so that's a good thing. And the other things that are more current for everybody is it's that season, so chapters should be looking at doing their taxes. And one thing that the board has noticed is that there are a lot of chapters that are revoked with the IRS, and they need to work on that and get their status square with the IRS. And then finally, the big thing is dues. It's time to pay your dues, and we've changed it to where you can only pay the current year forward so that we level out our cash flow, and to keep financial longevity for the association. And there no longer is a grace period, so if you don't pay your dues by midnight 30 June, you'll be discharged, and you will have to reapply. That's all I got for now. Thanks, brothers and sisters.
Well, how about that, folks? Our first ever vlog that we've put together to kind of give you guys a briefing on, guys and gals, briefing on what's been going on with the NBOD this year. Hard-working group. I tell you what, the best group I've ever worked with on the NBOD, or only. But these guys have put in all the long hours, all the extra time. This briefing right now is getting put together in Kansas City, Missouri, where they all met to do a face-to-face with an attorney and to do our own meeting and get this put together for you folks. I want you to thank all of them. They put in a lot of hours, a lot of hard work taking care of this business. So with that, hope you enjoy the first vlog. We appreciate your feedback. I understand that I have a face for radio and a voice for newspaper, but that's the best we can do. Thanks.